I think I'll be turning it on.
You have to turn it on, yeah.
You have to
Press
hold
this
it?
little button right here and hold it.
Okay, hold it.
Right.
Adam?
Just hit it one time. There you go.
No. I broke it.
Oh,
There you go.
what?
Is it on? I don't know what I know.
Oh, I don't know how to do it, I guess.
Just barely, just tap it.
Yeah.
We're about to start. Can y'all put y'all's phones on silent, please?
And you're
Thank
making
you.
way too much noise. You guys need to calm down out there.
There's too many people here.
Good morning. We're going to call to order the December Board of Directors meetings. We have a quorum. Jason is out today. If we can go ahead and stand for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag and pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. It's probably one of our better ones.
Yeah.
All right. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes this
Yes.
morning? Do you have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from Saturday, November 16th.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Unanimous? All right, secretary's report, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. Treasurer's report, John, are you gonna give that?
Jason's not here today, so I'll try to get through it. I didn't have time to really completely immerse myself in it. Our total income for the month is 199,650. Our net operating income is $28,482. For the year, we're showing a negative $223,000 balance, but as we all know, that's from the paying of all of the insurance, which was whatever insurance and tax, which was a combined. God,
124,000 and 132,000.
yeah, well, more than
And then
that.
80,000 before that, so yeah.
So it's
300,000.
330 or $40,000. I think that we are still sitting pretty close to $1 million, in combined money in all the accounts. There were no lot sales in the last month. A couple of transfer fees for $1,000, and the total motel revenue for November 2023 was 25,886, and for this year 15,783. So that's just reflective of the solar farms not going and stuff like that.
That will be more though, just to let everybody know because of all the spectrum that's here.
Yeah.
They extended their time multiple times. And so we're looking at getting, because it's going to be in my report too, about $28,000 more that they're going to check out within the next couple of weeks. So that will add to the motel.
Yeah. And then there are some other reports that I was looking at them somewhere else. Maybe it's that more in the detailed stuff, but for this month, we're in the positive. And a lot of things are on track to be within budget. So we're doing well. We got lots of improvement to do, but financially, the association's doing okay right now.
Thank you. All right, general manager's report.
I am going to try to go through this fast because I know we got a lot of stuff that we have to do. So I'm just gonna read through it really quickly. If you guys want a copy of this though, to look at it later, just let me know and I can make you more copies. So our office and staff motel, we sent out 29 209 letters that were mailed out this week, which obviously is for delinquency. A good one that I can tell you is one of the ones we had at the lawyers was almost $8,000. They actually answered that letter, gave us $2,000 down, and they are on payment plan now. So that was a win-win situation out of these letters that we sent out. We have more that came in to make payments, but I don't have a total for that. But that one was good because now we don't have to pay the lawyers and we don't have to foreclose. This month, we only wrote off $817, where last month we wrote off $10,000. We currently have 121 accounts to input for Buildium, and we should be live before Christmas. The motel was down $10,000 based on the projected budget for November, but this is due to Spectrum extending their stay 2 more weeks, which I estimate, like I said, $28,000. So we would have collected all that if they would have been done by Thanksgiving. But because they extended, it's gonna just give us more income. Gracie Mata has officially retired. Cassie Reyes is transitioning from the executive secretary position to the marketing/communications specialist. I have a new executive secretary starting on Monday, and her name is Marisol Aguirre, and she's going to be joining our team. I'm very excited to have her on there. Maintenance, landscaping team cleaned up the par 3, removed the small dead trees. They also cleaned up the tennis court. And we are planning the removal of the remaining dead trees, which are a little bit bigger, and it's going to take more work. The team is currently working in Unit 15, which they've been in the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of work to do over there. So hopefully they'll get done at least this week, I hope, and then they'll go to Unit 3. In addition, maintenance also cleaned and removed the items that have been neglected for some time on the par 3, just things that I saw that needed to be taken out. Philip and his team came and got all that. I did get some kudos from people on Facebook, so they obviously noticed, which was awesome. Asphalt has been delivered, and the team will begin working on the main roads to fill the potholes. And once they are done with the main roads, then they will continue to move on into the units, and hopefully until we get it all done. We have also ordered winter maintenance coats for the team, so you should see them that says maintenance, and it says Fort Clark Springs on there. So you'll be able to identify the maintenance team. RV park, I really don't have anything, honestly, to report for that, but I do when I get to the volunteer portion. Security, we promoted Sherry Garcia to assistant security guard because she is amazing at that job. So she will be the one that's going to be making the schedules and report, to Matt. So I'm very excited for her. Vehicle checks are going to start again. So security staff will continue with the passes for the stickers. So I would please encourage everybody not to get mad at them, not to run over the cones, and to be very respectful, because if anybody does do that, then I will be calling people on that, because I think it's just very disrespectful when we're only trying to just protect you all. And that's what is in our rules and regulations, is stickers on your vehicles to show that you're a member. And if you guys have any questions, you can always call me on that one. Hunting, October revenue success, budgeted revenue for November was $10,000, but we actually made $31,000, a remarkable increase of $20,000. Hunting has been going extremely well with Clay, Lee, Philip, and Matt working at it and just cleaning everything up. It has brought a lot of income for us, which is much needed. Team efforts, special thanks to them, as I just said. We're doing a Christmas special. We're offering 25% off. That includes members and non-members. To the day after Christmas, it's a hunting special. And we also offer 25% off for veterans. with the amendment that the gun club revised so that we can hunt on the 400. We had gotten 2 does and a trophy buck, which was harvested. The agreement was that they get 20% of that income will go to the hunt or the gun club so they can do whatever they need to do out there. So they're going to get so far to date $567.60 from us. I think that was a great partnership. Golf course and greens update. The Creekside Clubhouse has such success with the NFL Sundays, with offering the food over at the Creekside. We're continuously getting new customers that are coming in just to come and have some wine, beer, enjoy the food, and enjoy the company. And the final tasks for the pro shop and pro improvements have been completed. And Megan has made the Los Morris room a beautiful area to rent, and she's continuing on the painting that's in the hallways. And she's going to be done January 15th because she's married now. She has to be with her honey. And then Dickman, Saturday, they sold taco plates. And they sold out. They sold 20 plates over there, and we are going to continue to do that every week. This was a huge hit, and I believe everybody was very excited about it. Volunteer support. Warren will be working with the committee that's redoing the kitchen of the NCO club the first and second week of January. I'm really excited about that. David Mann has done a big facelift at the RV park. So if you haven't seen the bathrooms over there, you need to go look because they're beautiful. Also, Warren installed some lighting there, so it's not so dark, which will be on the boxes. So I have to go over there and see what they look like at night. But they look really amazing. And then of course, once the bathrooms are completed, Ryan will do a new paint on there, and we will be increasing the rental because it will deserve that increase based on how nice those bathrooms look. And the next project will be to get that kitchen in shape. Vendor work. Spectrum is expected to complete their underground work within the next 2 weeks. Once the work is finished, I'm scheduled to inspect the areas that they dug up or potentially disrupted to ensure that all sites are restored properly and meet acceptable standards. I have a list of people that have reached out to me for stuff that was done in their yards and everything like that. So they will be visited by me and by Alec to make sure that all that's completed before they leave. Events. The Fall Festival made a profit of $1,133.89. And our Christmas event is a decoration contest for most creative, best theme, and best use of lights. So those trophies are right there. And in the back, whoever wins will get one of those in their yard along with a picture, and we will post you on Facebook. If you have any questions, you can call me later. And then contract agreements. New agreements were sent to the stable members, raising the rental fee from $35 to $55 per month with annual reviews. I have a few still left to sign the new agreement. A new agreement was sent to the Fort Clark Arts, increasing their monthly rent from $50 to $60. I have not had any of those signed, and the deadline is the end of December. And I believe that's it for that. And then other items to note. I have received bids, as I mentioned once before, from DLP and Alice for tree trimming, motel electrical items, plumbing, street work, and road patching, building and painting. But I have one more contractor that I found, and their name is Red Star, and they are supposed to give me a bid next week. And we also have a plan for the flood issues and Unit 37 and Unit 26. Tom Kovac will be working with Philip to address this by making a ditch over by Unit 26, I believe, or making it bigger and making a new ditch over in Unit 37 to prevent that flooding. And that's it for that. I would like to tell you that in the back, I have the November budget to date, so you can see what was budgeted and what we actually made. You all can look at that. And if you have questions, you can give me a call on that. But at the end of the day, we profited $25,000, which was really good. Now, we're still in the red because of the taxes that we paid for and the insurance. I also put a Los Morris profit and loss back there so you can see Los Morris as well. Okay. I am done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can I add something to what Ms. Cavender had mentioned earlier, in a roundabout way regarding maintenance? Right now, the Ford is trying very hard to, keep Fort Clark beautiful. And it's all our responsibilities to keep at the minimal our own properties clean and proper and everything else. No one has any right to store any property of their own on green space. That's just a general rule that's applied to everybody. The architectural committee sometimes gets the notice, but ultimately it's our responsibility to make sure the green space is clear. Again, no one has a right to the green space. That belongs to all the members. So in the spirit of keeping Fort Clark beautiful, I would encourage everyone here and in TV land, keep your place tidy and clean so that all your neighbors are happy about how you keep your place. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay. We're quicker than I thought we would be. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Bill.
Did Fort Clark give Spectrum easement to do the work?
There's already a utility easement.
Is it?
Yeah.
How many properties have been violated? Violated? Well, that's something, digging in somebody's property.
No, they're in the utility easement.
Sure.
I don't think so in every
You better check.
They have the maps from,
The city.
Ms. Cavender, has anybody's property been violated?
I've got some complaints from some people that we will go look at. But at the end of the day, they got the maps from the city, showing where the easements were, and they've worked with MUD, who have come out and made sure that they were all marked.
Yeah.
and because some of the properties have easements on them. Not all the easements are off the property. So that's why some of the CCNR state that you can't put certain things to the back of your property line because there is an easement.
I understand that, but where can we find the easements?
Your survey would have it.
No, it doesn't. Mine don't.
Well, not everybody has an easement on their property.
I've never seen a survey that didn't have an easement. If it was a survey, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, but if you get a survey and it had, like, you bought your property, you have title insurance, and an easement is not on there, then your title company didn't do their job. That's why you have title insurance for easements, for, mineral rights, for
Yeah, I
all the other
understand,
stuff that you
and
wouldn't.
I have no problem with them, being in the easement, but
Bill, was your property violated?
found them and went through other people's property. They have no right to do that. They don't have an easement.
Well, if in fact you believe that they have encroached on your property without legal permission, then you could conceivably, as John mentioned, have a claim against your title insurance, which would also result in a claim against Spectrum for having, for lack of a better term, trespass. Just a minute, Travis. I'll get to you in just a minute.
That's fine.
Yeah, no,
Understand
I saw you.
If it does not appear on a survey of your property, it could also appear in what's called the reservations from and exceptions to conveyance and warranty that is in your deed. So if you look at the deed to the property when you purchased it, there'll be a provision down maybe 2/3 of the way down. I'm imagining, I don't know what your deed looks like, but there should be a provision in your deed that would say they're reserving from the warranty of the deed the existence of an easement. So not all deeds and reservations were crafted the same. But if it makes reference to a easement that could exist on your property in favor of a utility or someone else, then it's going to mention that, because that easement will also be contained in a document that is filed of record in the public records in the courthouse. And usually that reference to that easement will contain a volume and page number of the document that created or established the easement. So look at your deed. Don't concentrate on your survey. Surveys are just pictures and drawings that very seldom are utilized as an official document. More likely, it is the deed itself that would contain the reservation from or exception to the conveyance and the warranty that was established when you got your property.
Would it have also a width of the easement?
Oh,
I mean,
well, maybe not in your deed, but in the document that created the easement, wherever it may be, whatever it is, there will be what's called a meets and bounds description, which tells you what the actual dimensions are. It makes reference points to GPS points, but it also says going a distance of what have you, whatever the
No, I
distance
understand.
is, the width and the length. But that more likely than not will not appear in your deed, but there should be a reference to that document that is filed of record that created the easement. We have issues with easements on Fort Clark that will never be resolved. There were easements that were created. I've been doing some research on a couple of other things, but there were easements that were created, and then there were easements that covered those easements that were created. And it's quite a mess. But what I'm suggesting to you is that it is your individual responsibility, not the board's responsibility, to determine whether someone has come onto your property and actually trespassed in violation of the terms and conditions of your deed.
Well, I came and looked at the maps that are in the little room over here.
I wouldn't rely on those, Bill.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There was no mention of any easements. That's all and I thought those were considered official.
Well, those are good reference points, but they're certainly not binding legal documents. They're pictures.
Okay, that's,
So if you look in your deed and see whether there's an easement that was reserved that would not be in violation of the warranty that you got when your deed was given to you. If there was an easement reserved, it more likely than not will refer to a document that's filed of record, and that document is the one that created the easement. So check out your
I
deed
just thought
first.
those maps were kind of official.
Yeah,
They're plats for the boundaries, but it doesn't include all of the details of.
yeah, it's not going to be
easements
on that. That may be the original plat of the subdivision that gives you an idea of the location, general location of lots, but it's not going to reflect whether there's easements on.
Okay. But
and- Travis,
the board came
And something.
Spectrum permission to use the existing utility easement. Is that
Correct.
correct, but we don't have to give them, it's an easement and they're allowed as a utility, that company is considered a utility. They can,
I understand,
easement.
but they're supposed to be in the existing utility.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
they're supposed to be confined to the actual easement as described in the document that created those easements.
Okay, that's
And it wa-
basically what I was
And
asking.
frankly, it wasn't anything about this board giving them permission. They were going to come on anyway because the utility easement exists and they had acquired the right to use that easement. It didn't matter what we said.
No, I'm okay with that. It's
Yeah.
just the idea that they were given, you know,
Yeah.
We invite them.
a permission to be in the utility easement.
Yes,
Okay,
and that's and that's the only place they have permission to be.
right. So if they're encroaching on private property, then they got a problem.
yes,
Absolutely. They have committed a trespass, and particularly if they've created or caused damage then they would be subject to making that right.
And in regards to that, if anyone does have a claim or a complaint regarding that, let Ms. Cavender know. Not too long ago, someone had their gas line and their water line messed up. Spectrum went back, they fixed it, they corrected it. It was a problem, temporary problem. So, but if anyone has a concern or complaint, let her know and she'll let Spectrum know. It's not that difficult.
No, I understand that.
Okay,
But,
thank
you know,
Well,
I'm just wondering how, you know,
The exception to that would be, remember what I said, and I may have not have been very clear about it previously, but the claim is not to be made to the fort. I'm sure that Charlena would be happy to convey the dissatisfaction with what appears to be a violation of or an encroachment that was not legal. But ultimately, maybe through a cooperative effort, we can determine whether in fact there has been a violation on your particular property. And it's an individual claim that is to be made. And I don't want anybody in here to leave with the impression that whatever claims you may have against Spectrum for having violated the terms of an easement, that the fort's going to take care of them for you, because that's not how it works.
no, I realize that, but my point is that, you know, if you report it to Charlene, she would have the right or her job would be to go out and inspect
Yeah,
the complaint. And if Spectrum is wrong, then I would think the fort would have the right to have them correct the problem because they violated the contract about being in the utility easement.
well, that would only, I know we're extending this discussion, but I want to be perfectly clear. That would only apply. The fort would have a responsibility to pursue the claim if in fact it appeared that that Spectrum dug outside of the designated easement and they were on fort property, commonly owned fort property.
But
If in fact the violation has occurred on your private property,
I have to get a lawyer.
you don't necessarily have to.
But
Yeah.
if that's the only way.
Yeah.
If they say, no, it's not our fault, the only way you're going to get it corrected is have a lawyer,
Yes,
Could be.
could be,
right?
could be, yeah. Thank you.
You know how I feel about that.
Travis.
So I've looked at the maps that the city provided and maybe I'm misunderstanding. I don't know why the city of Brackettville would be providing the easements in a county place or in a utility district that's not the city, but regardless, the maps came from there. Those maps, and as you just stated, Tony, if there was a issue with the digging in on the common property, is the association going behind Spectrum and making sure that on the common property, they are in their easement?
No. I have
So
no-
we're not checking, so just like we've told Bill and all the other members of the association that, and there has been success, by the way. People have had success in calling into Spectrum and getting things fixed, and so you just gotta stay on them. I can tell you that. So we are not checking as an association on our common property that Spectrum is in the easement.
When I talked to Alec has worked with Randy and Kuko, and they have marked all the areas that they're supposed to go.
We are not marking, MUD is not marking where they're supposed to go. MUD is only marking the lines that are owned by MUD. That is not marking the
Okay.
easement.
So at the end of the day, let's just say they ran a line through the middle of common property. Tell me what it would hurt.
Well, what if there was damage at that point?
If there's damage, then we have a claim. But if if there is
Are
no
we
damage,
checking that?
I did.
if we have damage, we're going to know.
We're gonna.
We're not going to have power. We're not going to have water. We're not going to have internet.
Well,
Travis, you asked her if she's going behind these people and identifying if there's a problem.
yes.
Has there been a problem? There you go. We don't need to have Mr. Cop following them around saying you're out of your easement by 1 foot. Who
Thank you.
cares?
Thank
If they put a cable across by the statue, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. If they hit a power line, then we have a problem.
Okay, and you're also stating that the board has not granted an easement.
We have not granted an easement. They have a utility easement.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah,
so
but
there is a document filed at the courthouse where the board has granted an easement.
For what?
You just asked,
Great
we
call.
have
You have
designated.
granted an easement, have you not?
Oh, well, you could be more specific in asking your question. Yes, we gave them an easement to put up a pole because the Rio Grande Electric, one pole.
Okay, so you gave them an easement.
Well, they're putting in more than one pole, they're putting them in the old.
We gave them an electrical easement. So once again, what harm did it do?
I'm just asking to state the facts correctly. There was an easement given.
That's rich. That's rich.
But if they go.
State the
across
facts
private
correctly.
property, they
Buddy.
don't have to use a utility easement.
Okay, this is not, I don't want to, if people have concerns about what's violated their property or in front of their property in the easement that I know like Bob has, they dug up and kind of roughed everything
I've got
up.
a list of 6 people that I have to go back and look at.
Yeah.
But
And-
again,
but
like
she
I
will
said,
be going through the fort.
before Spectrum leaves, I am driving around with them through everywhere that they went, so I can check before they go to make sure that they do make right what they may have disrupted.
Yeah, but if they come across an underground cable, you
Bill,
they did it right.
Bob,
The only question I have is, our roads are in such bad shape today. Who gave them approval to bring a cutting machine across the roads?
We don't own the roads.
Okay.
and the easements may go through the roads.
I'm sure they do, but we don't own the roads.
Well, I know Wainwright and Anderson, they went right across that road. There's a ditch there now. They did put dirt there.
Well, their promise to us is they will put it back the way they found it.
Mr. Hendrick,
So when she goes around, if they have not, if it's just dirt, then that's not acceptable. They'll have to pave that.
Mr. Hendricks, in front of your house where I walk, they did put asphalt. Yes, what you're talking about around the corner.
Well, Mud came and put some asphalt there, but
Spectrum didn't do that?
no, Spectrum doesn't have any asphalt. Yeah, it was mud that Randy came and put
Okay,
that
that's
there.
pretty sure.
It was such a deep hole. But I can take my blower and blow that asphalt off because it's old asphalt. It's not something that's going to stick.
I think the prudent thing to do here, and we've discussed this some, is that we're not unaware of the fact that there are people that are being impacted by Spectrum being here. And once again, we cannot stop Spectrum. I mean, I'm sure we could, right? And we could make a fuss and maybe something would stop. But I think the thing to do here is to allow them to get through this process. And Alex, it's Alec or
Alec.
Alec. Alec and Charlena have a good relationship right now. This is a big company that doesn't want bad PR. And at the end of the day, we can create a punch list at the end of this to go through and fix some of these issues. So as long as they're being brought to us, we don't have this obligation to get an attorney and fight for somebody that's had an infraction. But something that you just described, I would say that's probably something that we need to run through, Alec, and say, hey, look, man, y'all did a patch on the road. Maybe you need to pay your own contractor to come in here, a subcontractor to come in here and fix some of these spots. We can identify these areas and have a punch list just like any normal job would. And then we can go back and address some of these issues and get it all cleaned up. I don't want anybody thinking, I know Tony doesn't either. None of us do. This is not a situation where we don't care. We want the fort returned to where it should be at the beginning of this process. But I did utilities for a while in Costa City of San Antonio. And even with everything going, with all the technology in the world, we still hit water lines and we still hit gas lines. And so things just happen. And I think everybody needs to be patient. Let's get to the end of this. Trust that our general manager and that the board, in whatever supporting role that we need to, will create a punch list and we'll get Spectrum to do what's right. And I think that's it. I think that's what Bill's asking. Just do what's right and clean up the mess when you're done. And we all agree with that.
Yeah, Tony was affected as well. And unit
I
wide.
wanted to
So,
comment too,
yeah.
that I do have a little concern myself that, as you said, they're going to be out of here in a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any way in hell they can clean up the mess that they have created all over the fort, but with particular emphasis on Unit 1.
Yeah.
The mess that they have created, if they're going to take responsibility to go all over the fort and fix their mess, I don't think 2 weeks is enough time for them to do that. So I'm concerned as well that we hold their feet to the fire.
Exactly.
I have a meeting with him this week.
Yeah. Okay.
And any underground, they should be inspected before it's covered up. Because they can just throw dirt in the hole, and if there's bare wires or something in that hole.
That's beyond our purview.
We don't
Yeah.
have the personnel or the
Yeah.
capability to do that.
I would encourage you to report it.
I have.
Okay, report it and make a list, please. That way it's not going to be ignored.
If he goes out there and covers up the mess that he made on the property I'm talking about,
Is it your property?
the dirt's thrown over into the hole and it's smoothed out, but did they repair the hole in the wire underground? You won't know unless if somebody has to be there while they're.
Well, if the person whose property you're talking about is concerned, please have them talk to Charlena.
I've already talked to her.
Okay,
Okay.
then,
It's on the list, Charlene? It's on the list, his complaint?
I haven't heard from you, Bill.
There we go.
I reported to somebody in the office.
Well, it wasn't me.
Well,
Get it in writing and give it to
Yeah,
her.
all right.
I haven't heard, right?
Okay. I mean, I can't add anything to what anybody else has said. We're not dismissing it. This is not the time on the agenda for it. And we are doing everything to make sure they make it right, which is their agreement with us from the beginning. So, we're gonna move on. I know someone else was gonna be here and we'll just postpone that until
Who's that?
Megan. So, we're gonna go ahead with the committee and then come back around. So, airport committee.
You gonna report for the golf committee?
The airport committee report says
Yeah, we
that
should go.
there were 3 pilots that flew in this past month. 1 stayed in the motel. We did have an issue with 1 guest who is a recurring issue. Imagine that. And we'll be speaking to the GM to request action be taken. Thank you to maintenance for mowing the overgrown area.
Architecture. Try to keep it short, Francis.
In November, we approved 4 permit requests and tabled 1 for more information. We only met twice due to the lack of permit requests. I've heard people say that architects should be spending all of our time driving around looking for problems. As my husband said, I do have a life. So if anyone sees what you think is a violation taking place, please submit a complaint form. This form can be picked up at admin or it's online under Fort Clark Springs under the Fort Documents Architectural. You don't have to sign the form, and our members will investigate the complaint and issue violation letters if called for.
Thank you, Francis.
Francis, that's a good point. All of us as members of this homeowners association are responsible for keeping up with violations of our CCNRs. And you as an individual member have that right to complain, even if it's not your neighbor, even if it's somebody all the way across the fort from where you live. You as a member have the right to complain. And I think she even said you don't have to sign it.
Yeah.
But if you complain about what you perceive to be a violation of the CCNRs, get up there and file it and they'll investigate it and hopefully we can pursue it and correct it.
And that, I think, is in our declaration.
Yeah.
It's all our responsibility to keep Fort Clark beautiful.
All right, golf committee.
Good golf committee report says the golf committee conducted just 1 tournament in November, the Turkey Shoot. It was a fun tournament that raised $1,000 to benefit the golf course. We don't have any scheduled events for December, but would like to extend our wishes to all for a blessed Christmas season and a happy new year. Respectfully submitted, Kane Brown.
Preservation, I don't think met. Are you gonna come?
Sharon.
You're gonna come tell us you didn't meet?
I gotta walk all the way up here just to tell you all we didn't have a meeting. Report. Thank you.
Yay.
Good job.
And recycling.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Archie.
We're in the waiting mode. Waste management owes us $337 as I calculated.
Perfect.
So because of weights that they didn't give us credit for. And
Good job of keeping an eye on them.
oh, I am. Well,
No problem.
we bought a scale. We weighed every item.
It's interesting, you know,
Yeah.
ironic, the waste management name and never mind. It's just my sense of humor.
Waste management.
Yeah. Waste management takes more than a month and a half to pay. We sent 43 bales of cardboard in October. So I'm looking for maybe another 2,000 because that's a lot of heavyweight. And I'm thinking maybe somewhere in December. Who knows? Yeah. And of course, I said, I canceled collecting sneakers. I got another payment because also they're very late. So for 40 pair of sneakers, I made $6.
Yeah.
You're rolling in it now.
Rolling, and it goes right to the port.
Is that why you stopped collecting them?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yes.
Yeah.
It takes energy.
Yeah.
So,
Got it.
yeah. So that's
$2.
canceled. And then I'm also waiting for the forklift to buy a forklift.
It's on our Christmas list.
That's all.
It's under discussion, yes.
Under discussion, and I
Yes.
could provide a lot of information should you need it. So
Yes, ma'am.
that's all.
Thank you, Helena. All right. Election committee.
Look at her. She's running.
Yeah.
If the rest of me felt as good as my knees, I'd be in a lot better condition. Bionic knees and the rest of me is falling apart. We're working hard to get candidates. We have 5 now names that we are working on. We don't have any firm commitments yet. I just checked with the office and no one has turned in a candidate data sheet. But somebody picked up all 3 from the golf course. So somebody is out there. I have to credit the election committee people, especially Constance. She's really been out there recruiting. And again, I'd like to ask members and board, please nominate anyone you think would be, obviously with their permission, a good,
We have
good
to
director. Yeah, well, then they come out and say, no, who told you that? We're still working. I'm working with Tony, talked to him the other day about the inactives. And he is going to try to get our attorney involved so we can get some sort of definitive answer on this. Again, we're not the only HOA, I'm sure, that has this problem. So, yeah, obviously, if the Secretary of State says, well, you may not be able to find them for 10 years, but you still have to send it, we'll send it. But if they say, yes, there's a fix, then we need to do it because it's just a waste of labor and money and volunteer effort.
Thank you.
Let's see. We did have a member, one member nominate working with someone and reported to us one of the names on our list. So I want to thank that person. I don't have permission to tell who that is, so I won't. The question has come up that we wanted to be able to use self-sealing envelopes, pull the strip off and sealed to get away from it. Found out we couldn't. use that because if they're going to print the envelope, the printing process, the heat develops during the printing process, melts the adhesive and screws up the envelope. So we're stuck. So I've asked Cassie to find some better glue or water sticks for us to use for less mess. Because Tony, I think you estimated an additional 1,500 or so ballots having to go out.
12 or 13.
12 to 13 in addition to the 16 to 17 we normally expect.
1,646.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. Yeah. Plus 12 to 1,300 more.
That number will haunt me.
But it came out perfect.
Yeah, it did.
And the election committee only works with what we're given. It's our job to run an objective election with the membership information that we're provided by membership services. And that person can only work with how well people report changes to her. So ultimately, if you don't get a ballot because you didn't change an address, it's your fault, not administration's, which is why we send out reminders to make sure that you make any changes before the cutoff date, which this year is January 29th. So, but we will have no problem. It may take us a little bit longer, but we'll get more volunteers on mailing day to make sure that we cover the additional ballots. And we just have to count more of them. That's all. It'll just be the same process. We'll just need more people and may take a little bit more time. But no worries, we're used to it. We've got good volunteers. So right now we're still working. I've asked everybody if we can meet next Thursday at 2:30, the normal time, normal place. Just to kind of touch bases, see who's talked to whom and so forth. So I sent that around and
That's for your election.
yes, for our election committee, right. for the
Will you
finance
repeat
committee.
the deadline for ballots, the date?
Yeah, January 2nd.
Okay.
5:00, no exceptions. I've asked
Okay.
Levy to make sure that she tells her staff up there to not only date stamp it, but to time stamp them as they come in. So that we know exactly when they came in. We did have a problem 3 or 4 years ago about someone wanting to submit something after the time, and we said no, and the person got all upset. So we
I
repeated.
remember that.
Yes, we did. So we repeat it constantly. Okay, 5:00, no later. So again, members, anyone else who has any recommendations, please give them to one of us. We'll go out and talk to them and so forth. But please talk to them first and more on what you do. Any questions from anyone?
Yes, ma'am. You mentioned earlier that the group is trying to recruit people to become
Candidate.
candidates for the election. I would encourage whoever's recruiting or the committee's recruiting to advise the people, counsel them the importance of the commitment of 3 years. Because if they end up coming onto the board, doesn't turn out the way they wanted to turn out, it becomes a problem that they start quitting.
Oh boy, don't we know that?
So at least inform them of that. They may already know it, but at least inform them, give them a little bit of counseling regarding that.
Well, perhaps we can do what we did last year, the year before, is bring the candidates in and maybe have at a meeting on the agenda, a brief 15-minute discuss what you guys do. I mean, we do, I'm on, because I'm on the committee, we talk to candidates that we know of and let them know that this is not a one day a
You'll
month.
need to unlock your iPhone first.
Unlock it, Bill.
That this is not a 1 day a month commitment.
Yeah.
This is like the drones.
Yeah.
We're not a 1 day a month commitment.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, be sure and tell them they don't get paid. One dime.
No, and it's a job where it's hard because you can't please everybody. You know, you have the entire membership to take care of, not just one group or one person or your favorite guy out there. So yeah, it's tough, having been on the other side of the table. Yeah, we do try to, but maybe, like I said, when we get the candidates together, you can make sure that let them know. Okay, and maybe they'll even call you.
Maybe.
Any other questions?
No, thank you so
Thank you.
much, Sandy.
Thank
That's
you,
awesome.
Sandy.
Thank you.
I like it.
Do you want to call it?
We have Megan, who's going to talk about a couple of things this morning that she feels that very strongly about. And I'm gonna also support her on this.
Sorry, I was late. We were getting a turn off on the golf course, and I'm happy to report we had 20 feather beans this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yes, probably the biggest tournament that we've had since I can remember. So, really excited. But, good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Carver. I'm here to address the article that was written in the King County Post newspaper, that's owned by Mr. Travis Huey. Specifically, the article published as an op-ed by Ms. Angela McNeil, editor for the King County Post. I'd like to start with some background on my employment at Fort Clark Springs. I was asked to come work Sundays at the pro shop in the summer of 2022 by then Superintendent Stephen Crum, as he knew I had worked there previously. I began work and my supervisor was Daniela Kunkel. A year later, the following summer, I was asked to become more involved in the operations. As I started to become more involved in the operations of the pro shop, Mrs. Kunkel discussed her husband's possible promotion at the end of the year and the possibility of me taking over her position. Unexpectedly, her husband was offered his promotion in August of 2023. Mrs. Kunkel wrote a letter of recommendation to the FCSA board for me to be promoted to her position after she resigned. Following my application for the pro shop manager position and Mrs. Kunkel's recommendation letter, I interviewed with Chassie Reyes. My mom, Lisa Vale, happened to be on the board at that time and sent an email recusing herself from the board's decision to hire a new pro shop manager. I was chosen as manager at the end of August of 2023. I hope we can put to rest the information of nepotism reported by Mrs. McNew in the local paper and online. Now to address the article. Before Mrs. Kunkel resigned, we had issues at the pro shop with rodents. The humane traps we were using at that time were catching mice, but it seemed a never-ending supply of mice kept coming, and eventually they stopped going into the traps. It got to the point where we were finding holes chewed in the wrappings of our snacks and chips and droppings everywhere. At that time, I proposed the idea of a cat. It is a widely used, timeless solution to rodent problems, and the cats act as an ongoing rodent deterrent. Mrs. Kunkel was responsive to the idea. However, we had not found a suitable cat to intern as rodent disposal specialist prior to her leaving in August. At the end of September, I was walking my dog near the entrance of the golf course, and a friendly black kitten who was all skin and bones popped out of the grass and followed me home. Did not want him to, but he did anyways. The solution to my mouse problem sat in front of me with big yellow eyes, and the little black cat was eager to fill the role of rodent disposal specialist. He agreed to intern and perform his duties for $0, but did negotiate a small benefits package, including water, food, and a warm place to sleep. Mulligan then became the in-and-out pro shop cat and dispatched the mouse within the first week of being there. Mulligan was not a feral cat, as Ms. McNew incorrectly reported in her article. Also, I would like to add that as pro shop manager, I never instructed FCS employees to care for the cat. I ensured the well-being of the cat interns on my own time, along with Laura, who volunteered to help when I couldn't. All the cat accessories were provided at no cost to FCSA. Now back to Mulligan. At the time of his arrival, the only food we sold at the pro shop was packaged chips and snacks. I then brought in Birdie, a second cat intern, a month after Mulligan, and they were both fixed and vaccinated at no cost to FCSA. Birdie is not a feral cat either. Both cats were performing their rodent disposal specialist duties as requested, and as evidenced by the dispatch rodents we found. To figure out whether we had eradicated the mice, I took upon myself to clean and re-clean every nook and cranny, and the evidence of the rodents was reduced by 95%. They were definitely not hanging around long enough to sample the scent. Within a month, our mouse issue disappeared. I've only found droppings maybe 2 times since then, and once I clean it up, it's gone and they do not return. To date, the rodent disposal specialists have dispatched around 5 mice that I'm aware of since being brought in. Of course, I cannot attest to how many additional mice may have ended up as cat snacks and cockroaches. When the new GM, Mrs. Cavender, came on in March of 2024, the decision was made for the cats to only be loose in the pro shop at night for mouse duty. A couple of months later, Mrs. Cavender made the decision for the cats to only have access to our employee office storeroom at night. Once we were able to set up an appropriate shelter outside via the storage shed, the cats, Mulligan and Birdie, were moved fully outside and with only access to an outside shed for shelter at night. I acknowledge that there are multiple options for rodent control, but as the golf club manager, I made an informed decision under the supervision of GM Patrick Herminger, and we modified our approach under the supervision of GM Charlene Cavender to address membership concerns. Finally, as many of you know, in 2021, I started a nonprofit called Wandering Cats, which captures feral cats, bathes and neuters them, and vaccinates them before returning them again. Feral cats are wild and require traps to be caught. Addressing some additional errors in Miss Annabelle McNew's article, Wandering Cats has never in the past or present operated out of the Fort Clark Springs Pro Shop. Wandering Cats only traps and releases feral cats back into the colony we trapped them from. We would never trap cats and release them at the Pro Shop. It is not how a responsible TNR program would be conducted. Lastly, both Birdie and Mulligan are not feral cats. There are a total of 2, not numerous, as the article stated. Some of you may wonder why there were so many errors in Ms. McNew's article. Ms. McNew did not reach out to me for comment in either of my capacities as Pro Shop manager or as the originator of the Wandering Cats nonprofit. I would also like to add that we have so much new information and studies available at our fingertips regarding the benefits of trap, neuter, and return programs. Our volunteers work tirelessly to educate our community on the benefits of TNR programs, as it is stated in our mission statement. So it's unfortunate that we never had the opportunity to share our expertise with Ms. McNew because she chose a decade-old article on TNR. Finally, I want to say, as an employee at Fort Clark Springs for the past 2.5 years, I have enjoyed working here and getting to see my everyday golfers. I will miss them all dearly. I have lived here since 2016 and have wanted nothing more than for FCSA to succeed, and have supported the fort from volunteering for Fort Clark Days, post theater movies, ghostly tours, and more. Also, it's been such an honor seeing the support for my nonprofit Wandering Cats and getting to meet some of the best people for our outreach efforts. I will not lie, at times it has been very difficult to work for the members of the fort and employees with swirling rumors and critical eyes, but I've also cherished some of the best moments working and living here. These past 8 months working for Mrs. Charlene Cavender have been a joy. She has taught me so much that I will take forward in my career. I hope that the positivity Mrs. Charlene brings and the newfound enthusiasm in our employees will infect the membership and carry it forward a new sense of grace and patience. This particular situation has taught me that decisions are not always black and white. I made the decision I take with the best interest of the fort in my heart. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to learn and grow.
Can I ask you a quick question? Send me the article if you have to publish it in the paper.
What I would like to say is, she gave all the information, and a lot of times, and I will probably get a little emotional because I've dealt with the same thing. Being, how do I want to say it? Since I've worked here, since I began here, I've been harassed, bullied, and called names, and it's amazing to me that adults act like that. Truly.
That's society, lady.
Huh?
That's society.
No, it's not.
Doesn't have to
No,
be this
it's not.
society.
I
No,
work
I
with-
know, but I'm just
Well, I'm
saying,
gonna
if you
wait.
look around,
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it, but no, it's not. I worked in the military for 13 years, and I've never been treated as badly as I have here since I started. But guess what? I'm not gonna let it. I am not gonna let it make me leave. Because you guys go through how many GMs? How many GMs have been here? And you start over every 2 years. Nothing gets done because they don't stay, because they're bullied. I may not know everything about the fort. I have only been here 8 months, but I have a lot to learn. And I have so many people that want to help me. But Megan did what she did because she had the support. Things changed. We're doing food now at the golf course. We're doing other things that didn't happen back in that day. But I felt so bad for her because she was devastated by the article and without all the facts. But we got them now, and we're gonna go on. But at the end of the day, unless I get fired by somebody, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. And I don't care how many times somebody calls me pig ignorant, or I'm stupid, and believe me, Bill Hahn has said that to me. I got emails, and he talks about bullying. And he talks about harassment.
Everybody's been.
Good club. Good club.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't discriminate, honestly. At the end of the day, look, I don't get paid a lot to be here, but I am here because I want to be here. I'm here to do the best that I know how. If I don't know something, help me, tell me. I'll do the best that I can learn. I mean, honestly, Travis and Annabelle, you guys are so smart. And it would be wonderful to be able to work together because the fort is amazing. And you tell me that all the time. I don't want to be enemies with anybody. And I'm here to help whoever wants my help. I'm not here to do anything wrong. I'm here to do a good job at the end of the day. That's all I can say. I can only do the best that I can do. And I think I've made a whole bunch of friends since I've been here. And I'm happy. And I mean, a lot of you when I first got here, but now you give me hugs and you smile and, and look, you're smiling. I mean, is it that hard to smile? You smiled. I gotta hug you because you just smiled.
Hey, hey.
My husband.
Thank you.
What I'm just saying is, look, I'm here to do the best that I can do. Am I going to do things wrong? Yes. Am I going to correct them? Yes. Do I know everything? No. I'm human. That's all I can say. And I thank you, Megan, for everything that you did and for all the beautiful work that you alone did in that Lost S'mores room. She painted that whole room. She redesigned that whole room and made it beautiful. And had all the carpet taken out of the patio, which was disgusting. I don't know who puts out my carpet out anywhere, but she did that all on her own, on her time, and didn't get paid extra for it. So I want to thank you. And the patio freaking beautiful. That's all I can say. So I just want to thank you guys for the support that you do give me. And for those that don't, I would please ask you, please think twice about being not so nice and to work with me because I'm not perfect and I never will be. And I don't ever claim to. And thank you, Brittany, for all the interviews I went through. Multiple before I got this job. But I just want to, and I love the board. I think they're amazing people. They've been nothing but supportive to me. And, at the end of the day, we're all human. We all want to live here. We all love the fort. So let's just work together, okay? Okay.
Going to turn the cat thing over to somebody?
The wandering cat?
Yeah,
She's working on,
somebody will take and pick it up,
hopefully, yes. Yeah.
because it's been doing a great job.
Yeah.
We can
She has been.
volunteer.
Can I say a few things?
No.
Yes.
Tony, get some more coffee. Memo sent us something the other day. I thought was just yesterday that I thought was really interesting. I'm only going to refer to this because of what Ms. Kavanagh just said. I won't name who the email was sent to, but it says from Mr. Peterson, and I'm not slandering Mr. Peterson. We're past that, but I do want everybody to remember the difference between a good manager and maybe not a good manager. Despite the insults, we will come back and finish the job with a lift as planned, I guess describing cutting trees. The crew only went there to get a few of the smaller limbs cut and make sure they had the proper equipment to get the larger ones without damaging the building. Keep it up. I'll be glad to put you at the back of the list again. That's an email. from Mr. Peterson. So look, Charlene is different. And Charlene is different than Peterson, different than Patrick. And I'm not, this is it's an unbearable job, what she has to do. And at the end of the day, I'm not in any shape or fashion, like knocking their character, but she would never write that article. And I think that we all need to appreciate that and give her time to, grow into her own and figure out all the ins and outs of the fort and be respectful in the process of that happening. Because I've never heard her say one negative thing. And secondly, I read the article. There's multiple. I'm not going to say what I want to say, but I am going to say that these people that are sitting in this room have a history of twisting facts to fit a narrative that they want you to believe. And unfortunately, they're very, very smart. And what they say gets a lot of traction because it makes sense. But it's not coming from the same place that it comes from a good volunteer. And the fact that there is an attack, this is a hit piece on nothing more than trying to get Mrs. Vail off of this board. If this was done in good taste, it would have been done with mentioning Megan. She would have called Megan, would have called her and talked to her as pro shop manager, would have talked to her as a 501c3 Wandering Cats. If I died today and God promised me that my child would turn out like Megan Vail, what else is there left to do? What else is there left? And yet, these people used that article only. If you get to the end of it, you have an article about Wandering Cats and about cats being in the pro shop. And I don't agree with cats being in the pro shop. We've already discussed this. I don't think they should be in there. It's not that big of a deal. They were going to get out. Another fact that I'll get to. Thursday, before the article came out, Charlena got an email and said, hey, from Mrs. McNew that said, hey, we don't want the cats in the pro shop or don't think they should be there. Her response to that email was, I agree and we will take care of it. Does anybody, show of hands, think that article should have been published with the general manager 2 days before saying, I agree and I'll take care of it? Show of hands. What should it have been published? Thank you.
Is it in today's paper?
It should not have been published. They should have given the time to the general manager to do it.
The email was sent.
Say that again?
It should have been taken care of before the email was sent. And if you're gonna say these people, say our names. Travis Huey and Annabelle McNew.
I did say your name.
These people, and this is a good example of bullying members.
Well, don't leave.
Bullying.
Don't
Do
leave.
you feel sorry?
Don't leave.
Show of hands of everybody in the crowd.
Oh, show of hands.
Who has sent the board over 100 emails?
We have. And they've all been relevant, and they've all been good stuff that y'all later.
Let's just dial this back. All right.
We have a meeting.
Agenda.
I have just one. I'm sorry. I'm a golfer. I belong to the ladies' league. We work with the men's. I've worked with the Los Morris tournament. John knows all this. I was on the golf committee for years. Megan was the first person that came up with a solution for the rodent problem. The buildings sit right on the creek. We're in rodent territory. We ladies have been cleaning up rodent crap for years there. And we're golfers, we're there. And we all thought, as golfers, that the cats were a good idea. When you started serving food, it changes things. They're outside. I saw them today. But I want to thank Megan because it's the first creative approach to taking care of a really ugly rodent population. And you can walk into sorry, it's the green room and we'll be forever. And you can smell them. Right now, it actually looks wonderful and have to give Megan and Heather and most people that are working there credit for doing what they did. Now, Travis, I know is golf. I don't know if Annabelle golfs. But I think if you ask most of the golfers, a lot of them just loved having the cats. I miss them, but I understand with food there. But I just wanted to thank her from a golfer's perspective and not just, somebody that doesn't golf or doesn't hang out at the golf course.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
All right. Let's get back on track.
Stay tuned for the next article.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that this got to a negative point. We've all grown thicker skins. We all are trying to do our best, but every now and then it just gets to you. So, I apologize. Community council. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Well, we've been busy.
Here, come by.
The first thing I want to announce is on January the 1st, we're going to have the first annual hangover lunch at Dickman Hall. Lunch will be served from noon until 1:30. Tickets are on sale and you can get them at the admin office as soon as I get them over there. It'll be $12 a person, but it's a full meal. There are flyers on the back table about it. The only thing is, I just found out last night, you don't have time to make new flyers. There will not be a cash bar open.
No hair of the dog?
But we may be serving mimosas.
Wait, we might have to talk about that one. I might know somebody who might want to
Serving
sell alcohol.
Okay, so that's a big thing. And at 2:00 following the lunch, we're gonna have the first annual polar plunge at the pool. So anybody that wants to participate in that, show up at 2:00 and you'll get a little award. Well, you may be cold or you may be warm up in the pool, depending on the weather. Okay, for Fort Park Days, we're looking for someone to chair the ladies' tea. The lady that was doing it had to drop out due to health reasons. We have all the supplies that are needed. All that has to be organized is the food, and we have a list of people that have done that in the past. So if you're interested in heading that up for us, please contact me or Stephanie Calderon. Our latest AED is here and being installed. Tom Kovacs is offering classes in CPR and AED. So contact him if you're interested in the class. I know that his first class is already full. You mentioned Warren Thompson has a crew that's going to be repairing the kitchen floor in the NCO club January 2nd through the 17th, I believe. So if you'd like to help out, contact Warren. And we have positions open for vice president and secretary this year. They'll be elected at our January meeting. So anyone interested in running for one of those positions, please contact H.N. Bitter or Dennis Slip.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, email votes. We only had one email vote. And that was a motion to approve the purchase of a 2008 GMC Sierra half-ton for $5,000 from Reliable Towing to be paid from the operations fund. And the vote was unanimous, and the email vote to vote was unanimous. So that passed. Do they have the truck now?
Yes.
Okay.
They do. And the title.
And the title.
Yes.
And the title.
And
It's a titled vehicle.
And just so you know, the reason why we had to purchase that is because we have two vehicles that are not repairable anymore. So we're going to sell them. And then we have another vehicle that doesn't do reverse. So, you can only drive forward.
Is that where we're going forward?
Well, yes.
Forward, backwards.
Rip the
Yes.
rearview mirror off too.
Can I add something to that regarding the vehicle? We are having issues with vehicles overall. And this is for the membership here and TV Land. If you have a vehicle that you may want to donate to Fort Clark Springs, please let Ms. Cavender know. Thank you.
All right. Item number 1, holiday sale on FCS owned residential properties.
25% off
25% off from now
until
January 31st.
Yes. So anybody, if you want to buy a lot, it's going to be 25% off. And that will start today if we say yes, because I would love to push more sales. I think, and I actually have somebody who wants to buy 6 lots. I tell them to wait because they'll get a special if we are approved the 25% off. I think it's a win-win situation. And for anybody that has a lot that wants one next to them, I think that would be fantastic. And it's Christmas. The whole sales for Christmas.
Will the sale be based on today's prices?
What,
Or what the lot,
Yes,
the price or lot, or whatever the price is of the lot today?
whatever the price of the lot is today with 25% off. Yes,
Thank
sir. Mhm. Yes.
How are you advertising? Are you getting this out to everybody?
Oh, yes. I have to wait for the okay, and then I will be dispatching and Facebooking and Brackettville voicing. And you can help me.
I don't do Facebook and I don't do YouTube.
You have your lovely list.
We'll give you a piece of paper.
That's what I do is hard copy stuff.
Well, there you go. Yes, ma'am.
What are the price ranges?
I can put that out on the dispatch. I have them from Gabby that tells the units and what the prices are for the lots in those units. So I'll send that out. So whatever you decide you'd like to get, then you could just give us a call and we will work with you on it.
And the road, these are accessible lots.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And these are four.
These are developed
Ford-owned lot. They're Ford-owned lots,
Yes.
and even board members can buy them. Correct?
Yes, anybody. I mean,
Any
anybody.
Any member.
And obviously you're a member because you're
Do
bored.
the members get the preference for the 25%, or you doesn't apply? It applies to anybody.
It applies to everybody. Everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Mark them some way so that if we're out riding around, we can go, oh,
I can, you know what? That's a good idea. So let me talk with Gabby and my maintenance and see if we can put like
Flags.
just lots for sale and just mark them so then that way when you're out, you can see them. Yes, ma'am.
but it's what more than one person wants that lot. What-
Let the bidding begin.
Sounds fun.
Is there any discussion on the board as to, before we make a motion?
It's a great idea. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can you
Agreed.
imagine?
How many are you gonna buy?
That's a secret.
The season.
Not yet. So do I have a motion
I motion that we start selling the lots at 25% off. Fork Road owned lots
from,
at 25% off the original price.
but from the date, can you give the dates for the motion?
Effective to date all the way till January 31st, 2025.
Yes.
Second thought.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. All right. The next item on the agenda is purchasing, the appraisal district came to us wanting us to purchase back the non-performing lots that they have foreclosed on in trust. And so that is something we're considering today. There's 138, maybe. I don't have the exact amount. They've offered for us to give a bid of $25 per lot to get those returned onto the books. The reasoning behind it would be to pull those back in so that we can hopefully eventually deplat all of those non-performing lots, because those areas are not
Can you
going to be.
explain the non-performing lots?
Oh, okay. So if you were to go up in the front, there's a map of all the subdivisions. Well, some of those subdivisions were never developed. So unit 8, unit 28, 29, there's a bunch of those units that were never developed. But they're platted, which means we also pay the taxes as if they could be, I mean, they're appraised at
No,
500.
we don't pay it because we don't own them yet.
Well, not these, but the other ones that we have.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you. They're appraised at $500 a piece. We can't sell them because of the change in, I think we can't sell them even as developers because of the change in the Colonius lots. They have to have water, electricity all of that. We can't sell a lot that doesn't have that brought to the property line. People can sell them between themselves, but we can't sell them. The CAD can't sell them. So what we'd like to do, and we have a lot that have been returned to us, is that eventually, if we can get it, we can start deplatting these subdivisions and turn them back into green space, which also has a lower tax rate on it, and more room to either, do other type of amenities or just more trails or whatever, but to get them off the tax roll. I did check, for those that are appraised at $500, the annual tax on them is $7.25. So if we do take them back, we will have to pay the property tax going forward. For all of those lots, it comes out to annually, it would be another $1,100 per year.
But for not a whole lot of money, we could probably deplat.
Yeah. We have to look, because unfortunately, we have a few people in Unit 8 and a few people in Unit 9 and a few people. So we have to see, it's complicated, but we're gonna have to see if we can maybe move those deeded people to one unit so we can deplat all the other.
I think a couple of elements for everybody to think about. If you were going to come into the association, you were going to buy a non-performing lot, you would want it to be done in all fairness to yourself and everybody else. What I mean by that, in good faith, that if there was going to be future development, that development would be done, that area would be an area that was most likely to be developed. So we've all talked about creating an area that is the most likely feasible area for development. It has the proper slope for sewage, so there's no lift stations that have to be put in, all of that good stuff. Water can be ran, electrical, yada, yada. So that we can maybe get all of the non-performing lots pushed into that, and in good faith, if there is ever a development, beyond where we are now, it would go that direction. And instead of it being, way back behind the airport, where I had a guy chew me out like a year and a half ago that he'd been paying his dues on a non-performing lot for 30 years and it's never going to get developed. And he's right. It's not ever going to get developed. I mean, I don't see how that happens. I mean, things change, but I don't see how that could happen. So the idea is to get it to a point where at least it could happen and get everybody clumped together to where we can deplat everything, and everything on those maps is now inaccurate and it's all green space. So, but I think that even if you had a checkerboard of Fort Clark owned lots and non-Fort Clark owned lots, you could still deplat and then apply for that to be common property.
Around.
Because those lots are already platted. You're just asking to deplat a certain lot. Because I've seen it in Commissioner's Court before, where somebody buys a 5-acre lot and they adjoin 2 other 5-acre lots, and they ask Commissioner's Court to join those and replat, even though it's a sum total of 15 acres, or going the other direction. So I don't think there's an issue with us deplatting even just one lot and turning it back into green space. So that these are all things that I don't 100% know, but stuff that we're trying to figure out to achieve to get all these non-performing lots off, because obviously we're sending out another 1,200 ballots that could go into outer space and Elon Musk find them. We don't know. I mean, it's a complicated scenario.
Can I just add one thing? You triggered my mind because I'm not clear. I don't recall at this moment. I know we might add ballots to this election based on those properties. But if I recall, a board numerous years ago said that we weren't going to do that. Have we reversed that? After the board had actually said we're not going to use those, we're not going to send ballots to these people anymore for whatever reason it was, but there was something. I know there was a paper file that was filed at the courthouse, from my understanding. So are we going to reverse that before we send out the ballots?
I didn't know that anything had been filed at the courthouse.
There was, okay. We've
What,
talked, I
what
think-
was 5?
I don't, well, what I recall is a board decided, 20, some time back, that said, effective this day, we're not gonna send out ballots to these memberships that are out there. It was decided then because the last 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 elections, we haven't sent out ballots to these people, but this year we are. But I'm just saying, have we reversed that order?
First of all, I don't believe that was done properly. Secondly, chapter 209 has changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the only and the best, in my view, remedy is to send ballots to all of those on that non-performing list.
Gotcha.
After this election, I think it's incumbent on the board to really do more to refining the list of individuals who receive ballots. But there's a lot to be done in that consideration, and included in what I understood part of your question was, if we agree to buy these lots as proposed from the CAD, do we have to send ballots? Well, if the Ford owns the property,
Yeah, we don't have.
then we don't send a ballot
No.
to that particular account number.
Mm-hmm.
But until that happens, yes, we have to send a ballot to all of those non-performing account numbers.
Not these though, because these are.
No.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
no, these are owned by
the CAD.
the
yeah.
CAD, the
Yeah.
county. So I don't know, you really had a couple of questions in that, but
Yeah.
maybe that's.
Bill, can you take us down memory lane when that happened?
I don't remember, but I know it was, I think they changed so that they didn't have to send any charter member because they didn't own property, they just were members.
That's in the documents.
Yeah,
Charter
that's
members-
different. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was also partly with the,
Save money, I believe.
yeah, because again, like you said, you're gonna have to send out 1,200 pieces of paper that there's nobody there.
Well, we don't know that until,
Well, I understand, but I mean theoretically, they
That was the thinking
were
back
not
then.
sent the stuff
Yeah.
because they weren't participating, they weren't paying their dues, yada, yada, whatever they came up with.
Yeah. Well,
With this thing with CAD, I would look at the units that have the least amount of members on it that are now owned
We're
by
thinking about
the
that.
county.
Yeah.
And try to get that one, buy that out. So now, let's say unit 6.
no,
Well,
yeah, we've just.
but the opportunity may not come along again. If this offer has been made for us to capitalize on getting these back, and my position in this has always been, if we get back these lots on this list, however many we choose to get back, the objective would be to vacate and re-subdivide as soon as we can, so that those particular lots on this list then become common property.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
And the thing is, if you're ever gonna replat it, you better make the lots bigger because they're too small to do anything.
No, we wouldn't. We
Oh,
wouldn't
no.
replat them.
No.
It'd be deplatting.
It'd be
Yeah.
deplatting
No, but
them.
I'm saying what you said, where you have these people move,
Oh, yeah, if we
Yeah.
well, I think where
They're
we would move
full-size
them would
lots.
already be created.
Yeah.
That would be the
Yeah,
idea.
right,
Yeah.
right. But if, let's say, we end up with 49 big hospitals coming in the area.
Well, and that's
You're gonna have
a
to-
discussion. That's a discussion for down the road because we're getting in the
Bigger lots
weeds.
because
So,
what they are.
Russell, you had something?
I believe you stated that the taxes right now on those lots are $7.25 a year.
Yes.
What is the difference between that and if it goes into common property? How much of a savings on taxes will?
Well,
That
that's
remains to be
that
seen.
remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Good question.
Because we, are currently contesting, because common property should be, as since it is an amenity to the membership, should be taxed at a nominal value. And so,
Yeah, and we're engaged in that now. so that we could.
But that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yes.
But I would think that at the end of the day, range, these slots have a value of $500 a piece. So I would argue that, I would assume that range, whatever that's called in the text, I don't know, but where it's like range land, that valuation of that has to be cheaper than a lot, because that's the minimal development, right?
Only if you claim it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to claim that exemption.
Yeah.
But
Yes, you'd have to change the law that says that the platted land is deplatted, and therefore what the taxes were then now goes back to common property rate, and whatever that is what you pay the tax.
which we claim should be taxed at the nominal rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, I mean.
So that begs the question too, do we want to take them now? Or wait until we find out?
I don't,
I'm just asking the question.
yeah, no, I get it. I understand that. But
Maybe the best.
I don't know whether this opportunity will continue to exist.
Now, what if they sold them to, 100 other people?
I don't think they can sell them.
Well, how do you, why do you
They
say
have
that?
been sold to other people.
Why do you say that?
By well, because I would think the rules apply to them as much to us. We can't sell them because they're not developed.
Well, the original developer sold them.
Well, but the law was different then. Texas changed the colonial laws. I don't know when that.
You gotta remember, it's in the newspaper when they, on the courthouse steps, they're gonna auction off property that the tax office has taken back for non-payment.
Yeah.
So they will sell them if you will buy them. Now.
Well, maybe they can. That would definitely be something to check. I don't.
Yeah, right, but
know
the
how they
point is
could.
that if somebody bought a piece of property in one of those areas
That's what they were
from
going
the tax office, they then have to come to you and do the paperwork. But if they don't do the paperwork at the court, I still think they own the property.
What is the total that they're requesting from us?
Well, the proposed bid amount is $25, but they also have a post-judgment years amount due, and that is different for each property. And I don't quite understand that. That was not discussed with us. And then the deed amount for each is $33. So if you add
last page.
it all up, you're looking at
Approximately?
$6,000, $7,000, $11,000, $12,000.
Ms. Cavender, do we have the membership have the funds to pay that $12,000?
In our operations, yes, because it would be for the good, in my opinion, Humble, to get them back, not have them sell, because they did talk about selling them on the courthouse.
I think it would be considered
And then-
capital.
Yeah, and then we deplat
Capital
them.
improvement?
Or capital.
Yeah, 100%. It's land.
It's a capital expenditure, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Or capital. Yeah.
Because it's an asset and it's land.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to clarify that for the membership in case anyone questions it.
Yeah.
I have a perhaps silly question. Does that mean that if I buy a lot, then I get voting rights with that lot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But you'll pay your membership too.
But then you gotta pay your membership fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a membership fee. So if you buy 100 of them, then that's 100 times 50. That's
Discount for
that's $5,000 a month.
Are these people, are they sent out a ballot to vote?
They're going to be.
on?
Not these,
Not
because
these.
these are
Not these
foreclosed.
lots,
Yeah, not these.
because
lots.
these lots were foreclosed on
Yeah.
by the taxing.
Yeah, we're not paying for them to get a
I
ballot.
think if you could check with the tax office, I know they're doing is giving you a blanket coverage to get rid of all of them. But I think if you went to the tax office and requested a certain lot that they have to go with all the tax entities in the county
Yep.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
agree on a price that they will sell it to you, which is basically what they're doing now.
Yes.
They want
I
to,
think,
they want to unload all of
Yes.
these lots for which they get nothing.
Yeah. And I'm sure the state probably is on them about them having this in their inventory for so long.
Could
That's
be.
why they came to us in the first place.
Yeah.
Are they charging so much per lot?
$25.
$25 per lot.
Can't you make an offer, since it's a bulk purchase? Can't you make an offer that would be less than that?
We've had various discussions with them. And first it was out of the question. That wasn't even available to us. And so they came to us and said, we'll offer you 25.
So why don't you go back to them and offer less? I mean, that's.
Well, I'm kind of the mind to have them clarify because like the first lot is $25, but there's also $27.90 in post judgment years amount due.
Like fees.
And then another 33, for the deed. So
Okay, so that's new on
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I didn't know about the post judgment.
well, we didn't get this till last night.
Right.
They had just given us the list and said they'd be $25 a piece. And then I
Yeah.
said, we need an actual
Document.
proposal document. And now it has the post judgment.
Now, have you calculated
Fees.
all of this up so you have one number?
Yeah, like 12,000.
Okay, so why can't you just offer, yes, offer them 6. There you go. Well, seriously,
mean,
that's how business is done. It's in bulk and you're doing them a favor.
I mean, you ain't wrong.
So we can vote on, agree to make
It's Christmas.
Make a counter offer.
Right.
What
You could be
happened?
less than 6, whatever you guys feel you're comfortable with, but make a shot at it. They're still gonna be ahead.
What's that? What is that?
A bug. It's a bug. Get the
I
gas.
think that's an excellent suggestion. I really
So,
do.
so the lots, it would be $3,500 roughly, and then you would have to also do the deed transfers. So the minimum amount that it'd be on here at 25 plus deed transfers, and I'm assuming the deed transfer is not
Is
negotiable
that
because
just recording fees?
that's an administration thing.
What are you,
Yeah, I
what
guess
are you
they
calling
see-
a deed transfer?
Well,
What-
the deed amount, so it's
Yeah.
$25 for the first page of the deed, but there's normally 3
No,
pages.
that's the court, is to have it recorded.
Okay,
Yeah. So
That
that
is
Is
a
that
little
what that
harder
is?
to negotiate, the court.
yeah.
you're talking $8,000 is probably the bare minimum, and then the post judgment, which we don't know anything about, is another 4.
So we just,
No, that adds up to 12 there, but that
Right.
doesn't include $25 per lot.
No, it does.
It does.
It
Oh,
does.
it does,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
okay.
So,
It does.
I mean,
I'd
what
say
about an action of like approving up to $12,000, but so that we can make a move, having a budget for Charlena to be able to negotiate once more details are come to light. Because even if it was 12,000 and that was the offer
Yeah,
right
I'll
now, I
handle
still
them.
think we need to do it.
I'll have
That's
one.
less than $100 a lot.
John, let your wife say something.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Brittany Wiley. I'm a member. I have a question. So I support this, but something that popped into my mind and I don't know the answer to it is there a chance that there's any liens against any of this property? And is there a way to search to make sure that if there is, FCSA wouldn't be buying any property that has liens against it? Like, I don't know if there's any issues there and I just wanted
That's a
to.
good question.
Those-
Research it.
okay.
Just give us the
First of all, I don't know the exact answer to that question, but I can tell you that it is my belief that since all of these lots are now owned by the CAD,
Okay. not
that
Then
they
they
went through a
satisfied.
foreclosure to get there. And the net effect of that should be to have extinguished any other lien.
Okay.
But your offer could be $6,000 with no liens on anything we're buying.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and just to give everybody some context, a lot of these properties are well over 10 years old. So they've
Yeah.
been owned by the tax office for over 10 years.
It's just, for the language, it's free, there's no liens.
Yeah. So, I mean, very, very few of them are even in 2024. And very, very few of them are in 23. So I would assume that probably don't have any liens against them.
Well, do,
Yes.
It's my opinion that they have offered these to the board. If we don't respond, if y'all don't respond, they're gonna put them on the steps and we're gonna have.
Bigger mess.
Yeah.
Sold to different people
Yeah.
and they'll make more money doing that. So I'm thinking that we need to respond. They've given us this offer. They don't want to have to go to the steps and do them individually.
Yeah.
So I think we should.
I would say to have them, what do they call that? Lien free or there's no.
clear title,
You know,
clear title.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So the total is $11,944.80.
Well, and some of that, a couple of them need to come off.
Right. But as of now, but
Yeah.
I definitely, I mean, if we vote to approve this, I definitely will have it with them and just say, you know, hey, here's what we're going to offer you. Otherwise, then you're going to have to take it. And I guarantee you, they don't want to put it back on the courthouse. No. Yeah, they don't.
I move that we authorize Charlena to negotiate, but that ultimately she have the authority to spend up to that amount of money that you calculated.
I agree with that.
Do I have a second?
Title.
Second.
Yeah.
Yeah. I second the motion or memo. Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous.
I will haggle, Linda.
All right. Did y'all have a chance to read
Yes.
the letter from Triumvir
Yes.
and then the engagement proposal from Peerless? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The things that I highlighted in here was, which I know if Jason was here, it would be something that he would probably specifically ask, would be the validity of the agreement and then how the agreement's structured. The agreement can be canceled at any time. If we're not satisfied with something, all that they ask is that we bring the issue to light so that they can address it. And beyond that, you can cancel the agreement at any time. I don't see any risk here for the additional services, and obviously it's something we desperately need moving forward.
And this is just for the bookkeeping, right? The bookkeeping part?
It's in addition to what Triumvir does now. Yes, it would be the
So
book.
it will be all rolled in together.
Yeah.
And right now we're paying how much, Ms. Cavender?
I'm sorry.
How much are we paying Triumvir right now?
We are paying $3,100 a month.
And this will go up to how much?
It will go up to, I believe, 41.
Here it says 42.
Oh, sorry, 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cheaper than we pay an employee to do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So then in
And
that sense, we're not gonna hire someone to do it. We're gonna hire, they're gonna contract the bookkeeping services with this company and we can fire them at will.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And they would be
$22,000.
fulfilling the duties of Gracie.
Right.
So
Other
that
than
we
the
would not have to
physical.
hire, other than the fiscal, which
Yeah.
would go to Cindy. So other than hiring another person. Yeah.
And that's paying bills and bookkeeping.
Paying
Yeah.
bills, bookkeeping, and they will be taking over the portion of Buildia that has all the delinquency. So that would be taken off the admin plate because they would be sending out the 209s, they would be sending out the 30-day notices, and making sure that they're keeping up on it, making sure the bills are paid. So they are very experienced, which would be really nice to have that additional experience to help out. We've been doing the best job that we can, but it is a lot of work right now and they will be focused on that, which would be really nice. And just to add to that, it'd be $4,200 a month, but with the retirement of Gracie and bringing them on remotely, we're going to save $22,000 a year.
Well, it'll be more than that.
No, I figured it out.
But are you including FICA?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I lied.
So you got another like 10%. I mean, it that you're going to have to throw into
It is
that.
high.
Yeah.
Which is twice as much as what the additional
Yeah.
That's true.
money is.
So,
to
yes.
Peerless.
Now, they're gonna be our official bean counter. And then you're gonna be over you're gonna make sure they're counting the beans correctly, correct?
Yes.
So you're gonna be on them.
And why'd you use beans?
No particular reason.
You need to be more clear, Memo.
Bean counter.
I will put it
Thank
out
you.
there. Memo makes the best chili I have ever tasted.
Is that
Just
beans
saying.
in or no beans?
With beans.
beans.
Yeah, the beans.
That's not
Were they?
chili.
That's,
Well,
That's not chili.
well,
No, we don't want to get
Oh,
fighted about what's
no.
chili and what's not chili.
well, she put sour cream in hers, but
Um,
nothing.
So Triumvir is, yeah, merging, so to speak, with those services, and Triumvir is still involved in this. And they do bring a lot more people to the table, along with a CPA that is well versed in HOA, membership assessments, all that kind of stuff. So I think we're getting a lot more expertise and continuity by doing
And
this.
yes, and
Make audits simpler.
yes.
Yes,
That's the
well,
whole goal.
oh,
Yeah,
and
that's the whole
speaking
goal.
of that, yeah, so I spoke a little bit last time. We're on track to get the final draft from the auditors before the end of the year for the prior. The one that is due this March has already been started and is on, and will be finished by the March meeting, if I have to go down there myself. So, but this latest one that we're doing is also much simpler because Triumvir has already done all of the work ahead of time in the book. So there's a lot less that has to be done or found. So it should be really clean. And then going forward, it should be, yeah. And we're also looking, after this final audit is done, we're looking to shop a cheaper auditor because we took the one we could get, considering our timeline of having to get those past audits done.
So
So,
if the books are clear, they shouldn't charge as much.
Right.
right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. And so, in fact, Jen is going to get us, somebody else is going to give us a bid for the following year to see if we can, yeah, get it down a lot more.
So is Triumvir being absorbed by Peerless?
Opposite. They're absorbing, I believe, Peerless.
But they're no longer Triumvir, they're peerless.
Hmm?
They're no longer Triumvir, they're peerless.
Right.
Okay. So we vote on is gonna be to hire peerless at $4,200 a month
Yes.
to
And
do our
they'll
books.
also, which we didn't mention either, they're gonna be writing operational procedures for all of our areas that we need. One for specifically like receivables, payables. And so they're gonna be working on that as well. So if somebody does leave, then we have a procedure manual that anybody can follow, which has been needed for quite a while.
I think it's
move
good.
we approve this modified agreement with Peerless and
Yeah.
Triumvir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
I just want to add that you give
Motion
them
passes.
that once now that they're gonna be hired, that you give them a timetable as to when those
Procedure.
procedures be done. Maybe 120 days from the time it's official, which would be a reasonable amount of time.
Okay.
Because that way, 120 days we can check. And if it's not done, then we have something to hold over them.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
it's probably a little more complicated than that in the sense that what procedures? Because there might be 5 of them, and there might be
Yeah.
50.
There might, well, there's gonna be a few,
So I think
or at least beginning at
I
least
know somebody that'd be
finishing
really good
some.
at outlining that. I'm not going to mention their name. Not even going to look at them. But we probably need a list of, hey, these are the areas we need help in, and then maybe they'll know how to expand on that. And then that way I think all Memo's saying is accountability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they see the list of what we want, they can give us the timeline. We
Yeah.
can see if it's acceptable. Yeah. Okay. Is this the last one?
Changing certified account, or we already discussed that?
No, this is different. So, we have a couple quotes for a new CPA to do our taxes. Right now we are, pretty much current. They've amended our prior tax returns for, all the ERC money that was received. You have to amend the prior and such. So we're right on track with that. But personally, I will just say, I feel like we're being charged too much, and I think we can get somebody that'll do a better job. He's a nice guy, but he's all over the place, and I don't like the way he invoices.
He's not timely either, is he?
He's not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have any late fees on anything, but
Yeah.
so did you guys get a chance to look at?
I mean, I read the emails that are in here, but they're referencing a package or a proposal.
Well, we've given them a copy of the current taxes. They know that we've moved to a cash system, which is why this year will be more expensive because we're going from accrual to cash. It changes the filing. Next year, then will be cheaper. So they looked at what we have and gave us that it would be 45. I think both of them are, one's 45 and one's 4,000 to do this year's, and then 3,500 to do next year's.
How much are we paying this past year?
Well, that's hard to tell because of the way he invoices. And he was doing a lot of audit stuff that doesn't have to be done now. But we asked him for going forward, and he's at 45.25 for this current year. But he hasn't taken into consideration the cash basis. So it would probably go up to close to 6,000 with who we have now. So.
And we're not gonna have that same situation if we switch over to another CPA?
Well, I think this other CPA is being held to their feet are being held to the fire by Triumvir.
Yeah.
And I think I don't see any reason to distrust anything to do with Triumvir at this point. So I would, right now, we can't hold Coggins' feet to the fire at all, other than griping. But I think with a multifaceted agreement or relationship with Triumvir, I think that allows us a little more leverage in the event that we do have an issue with this gentleman.
So there's two. There's Janet, who is within Peerless.
Mhm.
And then there is Sam,
Yeah.
who is outside of Peerless. Both have worked with Triumvir. So the question is, if you want, Sam, I believe is more reasonable. And I think he'll be more responsive. And he would be outside as a balance to
Instead of all our eggs in one.
all of our eggs in one
Yes.
basket. If that makes sense.
You interviewed, you're part of the interviews. Who right now is leading in your
I
mind?
like Sam.
Okay.
And Jason was in on the interviews, but he never expressed one way or the other
Okay.
on which one. Janet has a lot of experience and everything, but she's within Peerless. It's not a conflict of interest, but
No,
do we want somebody else on
Keep
the
them
outside?
honest.
I just liked the way he was approaching things. I liked what he said. I felt really good about his experience because he answered all of our questions. And I'm not saying Janet didn't, but she said she had to check on some things a few times, and where Sam answered them immediately. I just felt, and I don't feel we should put all our eggs in one area. I really don't feel that's the best. I think we should have somebody who's a little bit separate. So maybe, things don't get too convoluted.
And we have verified they're both certified public
Oh,
accountants.
yeah. Yes.
And if we don't like, how this next tax year is handled, we can,
Revisit.
Mhm.
there's no contract
And
with
they're
that.
much cheaper than what we're using now.
Much cheaper.
That's
And
expensive.
the price is, he's not doing an hourly, this is the price to do your taxes.
Yes.
Whereas Coggins was giving us a price and there was all this hourly stuff that got added afterwards, so.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Ms. Kavanaugh,
Any
you
other
want Sam? That's what you prefer?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
okay.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve Sam as being the new CPA.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion approved and passed. I keep losing my agenda.
The homeowner association certified?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good
All
one.
right. That, we got through the last of that pretty good. Announcements. I know the Dickman is having an ugly sweater party on the 21st and
An auction in the Christmas wrap.
okay, yeah.
This.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And tonight it's a bake sale auction, silent auction. I have seen a picture of the cake that
We have a fantastic
Jeff
onboard baker.
it's Jeff White, right? Is that his
Yes.
name? Yes. This guy's amazing. I've had his stuff, but this cake is
Orleans, it's
yeah. So that's the night
Saw a
along.
picture of it.
He did.
Tonight is Frontier Christmas in town.
And Frontier
And they
Christmas.
have that wonderful living nativity. And if you've never seen it, there's going to be 2 baby goats. And I have a little piano. So.
Oh, all right.
a lot going tonight.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the King County Arts Council Christmas Tour of Homes.
Mhm.
Tickets are $10. You can get them at the admin building, or they will sell tickets at the homes. $10.
Busy weekend.
Adult or child. So if you want to bring your kids, it's going to cost you $10.
They're more likely to break something.
Under two,
There might be more. 15 for children. and
under two,
10.
not free?
No.
Yeah.
$10.
And it'll include historical homes on the fort and also in bracket.
In Brackettville.
Can you share with us the names of the people that are all opening their homes for the community? Who are
Oh, put her on the spot.
Yeah, because I don't know their names.
Okay, Eva Huey.
Right. Anita. I mean, you're at the Stagecoach.
Stagecoach.
Inn over in town.
There's two on Colony Road.
The museum in Brackettville. The Colony Row #1, which is the house that Travis Huey restored. The one story.
The very first one out here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's for sale.
It is $208,000.
One in between. There's somebody along Collins Road. but
No, there's a French
On
and
Fort Park Road,
And one on
next
Fort
to
Park
where
Road.
Elizabeth used to.
But there's two on,
I got a house on Sunday.
And,
Okay.
and they sort of.
Could do an
mile
LD.
which are the two ones on Colony Road? Travis's and who else?
There's Travis and Eva and
Oh,
there's
okay.
another one. No, there's another one.
There's three.
Two. Two on Collins.
But if you pay your $10, you'll find out who they are.
Okay, thank you.
Keep it a secret.
Is there? Oh,
I just want to say at the golf course, we have a lovely Christmas raffle basket. There's a list in there. There's a year golf membership with trail fees, a one-night stay at the motel, and lots of other goodies in there. It's $10 a ticket or free for 25. We're gonna run it through the
It's a huge basket.
huge.
Oh, yeah, and I should mention the one at Dickman has
The,
spiral ham, brandy, eggnog, got
Ooh, nice.
It's about $100
Is it a
Tis the season to be jolly.
All donated.
Race starts.
Hey, you don't have to eat boiled eggs anymore.
Yes, and I will be one of the judges.
Where's
for
the parade gonna
parade.
start, Dennis? Where?
It starts right down here at full.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
So anybody on Colony Row from 5:30 to 8, just if you could have your cars moved because the parade's going to go down that way.
Okay.
We
Is
put
there
out a
anything
dispatch on
else
putting up.
before the new year that there will be a New Year's Eve party at Dickman, and I'm not sure if anything else is going on at the RV park. So that's all the announcements that we have. So we are.
One
I
more,
want to say
one more thing. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad to everyone.
stole that.
Oh, okay. You were gonna close it. Say,
I guess, I would, like a prayer to go out for Vicky Lee. She had a heart attack on Friday night.
Oh.
And she's over in Del Rio and don't know the outcome of anything. She's still doing all right.
Thank you, Dennis.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Good volunteer.
Okay, we'll be. Oh,
There's John's wife.
John's wife.
Oh, Brittany Wiley. Brittany Wiley.
I want to remind you.
You could address her as luckiest woman in the whole world.
I wanted to remind everyone about the other meeting today.
oh, the
For sure.
vision, yes, and the vision traction meeting at 1:30.
Yes.
1:30.
Yes. So many of you may remember that back in May of 2023, we sat with the previous board and the previous GM, and I helped facilitate them to go through values, goals, 3-year goals, so long-term goals, short-term goals, and we worked through all of that. And so now this board and this new GM is going to revisit that. So we're gonna look through and see where we landed. I kind of like it better because it's landing now. We're gonna have a calendar year set of goals. So we're a little bit more than a year from when we first did it. So invite everybody to come watch. Last time they did it, all the talking will be happening up here, but you guys are all welcome to come and watch. And I just want to say one more thing. One of the values that they set back then, and that was if some different board members and different GM, was accountability. And accountability is not bullying. Accountability is holding people accountable for their actions. And that can be uncomfortable. And I think we witnessed that today, that uncomfortableness. And I just want to say that everybody up here, I admire their strength and their character for sitting in this spot, paid free and doing everything. And I admire all of you out here for showing up month after month and all the committees and everything that y'all do to make this place better. And so I feel like little by little, this group back here has held people accountable for the negativity, the things that are said that are not true. And I think that's been great. And I know it's making a difference, and I can see that. I can see a positive change and people really starting to work together. And we don't always have to agree, but we're making progress. So I'm excited. And we're going to make more of it this afternoon. So I invite all of you to either come or watch.
No, Merry Christmas. We are adjourned to executive session.
So that's at 1:30. That's at
Yes,
1:30.
We are adjourned at 11:01.